Hi! Hello, everyone. It's me. Welcome back. It's another Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day. I have a spanker of a fabulous deck for you today. I'm very excited about this one. She's a new one in my collection. I think she makes like number 120. This is the Citadel deck by Fen Inkwright. Love the box, right? A little foil finish, never hurt anyone. You know how much I love a foil finish. Ooh, look at her catching the light there. That's sexy. So this is a really cool deck. Beautiful packaging. Beautiful packaging. I love the kind that have like a little box snuggled within a box. Maybe it's just the novelty of it. What I really love about this deck, though, is the cards are this really cool shape, right? Look at that. Oh, look at how rich that gorgeous pattern and that line work is. So delightful. So let me tell you about this deck and why I really wanted this deck. I saw another YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I saw a YouTuber using this deck, and I was like, these cards are so beautiful. I have to get this deck, but I already have so many. This one was on my wish list for a long time, and then the last time I went to Barnes & Noble, I had a gift card that my stepmom had given me. Hey, Lynn, if you're watching. And I was like, oh, it's time. I'm seeing her out in the wild. It's time for me to get her. So this deck is a deck that works with archetypes, right? So this deck is based off of the author's interest in fantasy novels and tabletop gaming like D&D, right? And so she really loves the kind of world building that happens within like fantasy worlds, right? Within like whether you're building a campaign or whether it's like a really cool novel. Look at that. Or it's like a really, really cool novel. It's gonna have some really awesome world building and characters as well. And fantasy, the genre of fantasy has archetypes of people and some places. So she has devised a few of these archetypes and she's organized them into 4 suits. You have your court cards, which are your high achievers, your royalty, and then you have your academics, so like your intellectuals. You then have a suit that is like people from the working class and a suit that is artistic people like artisans and artist class. So really beautiful artwork, non-figural, but just what I adore about this deck is the way that she uses symbol. And each of those suits, so if you see these triangles, each of the suits are alighted with an element. So the court cards are fire, the intellectual cards are air, the working class is earth, and the artisan class is water. So you also get like some elemental correspondences the way that you would with tarot and some oracle decks. And so because she's done that, she's like put elements with it, she has a lot of suggestions for actually using this deck, not just for divination for yourself, but for divination within a game, but also to help you build a game. So like, she's like, you know, if you're doing some world building, you know, draw a card and create a landscape that aligns with the element, right? So whether you're building characters, whether you're building a landscape, whether you're trying to think of different adventures that people are going on, she has a lot of cool suggestions for using this deck to help you build your story, which I think is really, really neat. But yeah, this is just, it's a very symbolic deck, heavy use of the copper foil, which I love, but just very, very, very visually rich. There's a lot to look at. It's interesting because it's black and white and copper. It sort of gives you that visual ease that you would get from a minimalistic deck, but there's all of this beautiful, like, you know, here you have some really gorgeous asymmetry. So whether it's like the way she's using asymmetry, the way that she's using pattern, we have a beautiful asymmetrical placement here of objects, or like here we have all of this gorgeous floral scroll work. You know, lots of rays. It's the way that she composes her pictures. They're really, really fantastic. So very visually, like, pleasing and soothing. But as a reader, if you're the kind of person who looks at oracle cards for symbols to interpret, you're getting a lot here. So just like a lot of visual information without overwhelming you. So just in the shape of the cards, it's really, I love, I have a few decks that aren't like rectangular cards. They are like, they're circles or they're hexagons. You know, they can be a little hard to shuffle. So I think that she solved that problem of having a lot of visual interest in the cut in the card, but you still have these long sides and they're quite small and narrow so that they are rather, they're not difficult to shuffle. So I'm going to be showing you some decks that I have by Kim Kranz, and she definitely goes for like oddly cut cards, but her decks are very difficult to shuffle. So Chris, usually when I'm using one of those decks, I'll usually have him call out a number because he's such a good number diviner. But yeah, look at how beautiful these are. How articulate is that hand? It's so simple. It's just like it's done in shadow. There's not much detail, but just the way that the lines are placed, the fingers are so beautifully articulated. You're getting puppeteer from that hand. Like, I really, really, really appreciate this. There's a lot of floral imagery on this one too, because she already did a deck that was like folklore paired with flowers and herbs that I really kind of want to look at and get my hands on. If it's anywhere near as beautiful as this deck, I'm kind of here for it. So because this one works in archetypes, this is a deck that I would really recommend for like, when you're wanting to look at the energy of someone's story, the character, the stories that they're telling themselves, this is a really good deck for that because it's all characters. It's all aspects of the personality. And we all have many archetypes within us. We have a few that kind of stick with us all of our lives, and they're really part of our life journey, and our life purpose is drawing out certain archetypes, looking at both the light and shadow sides of those archetypes. I have a few archetype decks. I think that archetypes are really interesting, right? Because I'm really into storytelling. But I also, think that archetypes is something that like we encounter a lot of archetypes as well in our lives. Like, you know, when we look at people in relationships, often a person is a mirror for us or we're a mirror for another person. And sometimes we love what we see or they love what they see because there's something being drawn out that feels good for them. But a lot of times when we're feeling really challenged by people, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, when we're feeling really challenged by people, they're often, I've got a card here, they're often showing us something about ourselves that we don't like or that we need to work on or that we need to explore. So here's what I got here. This is one of those working class cards, the Shepherd, Celebration, Family. That's really interesting. We have some interesting dandelions that are coming out to me right here as well. I'm feeling about like, family dynamics, wishes, celebration, yes. Spring is coming, yes. I'm getting like they want a second one. Let's pull a second card and see what we get here. Ooh. Oh, the Alchemist. Again, we had an alchemy card last week. The alchemist, balance, invention, destruction. Okay. Very often within family dynamics, we will find that we are paired with people that both enrich us and challenge us, but that challenge can also lead to enrichment, right? That challenge can lead us to our own alchemy, right? The people, like our family and our society is built off of families. These were supposed to be the people that we're closest to. These are supposed to be the people that like we are supposed to have this unspoken connection with. And that's not always the case, right? And we feel like, oh, is something wrong? Like, did I do something, right? And I feel like what they're telling me is like, there's these dandelions here, and dandelions is something like we blow on it, we make a wish, right? Another thing about dandelions is they have this seed head and we blow on it and they go out. Dandelions are all about things that are ephemeral and fleeting, right? And many relationships in our lives can be ephemeral and fleeting. Your family might be something that for you is like the dandelion that's rooted in the ground, or your family or members of your family might be for you like you kind of want to like blow that seed head and make a wish and see what happens when it's planted elsewhere, right? This idea about alchemy, again, when we talked about this, the idea that this is transformation through fire. This is transformation by burning away the impurities, right? I'm getting this idea that like sometimes like don't stay in any situation that does not work for you, right? Don't stay in any situation that is abusive, toxic, that is impeding your growth. But I'm getting the idea from this that sometimes these dynamics are useful to us because they help burn away those impurities, because they are that living alchemy that we're supposed to experience in our lives. Things are really like, I'm getting this idea that like, because things are so divided right now. And I'm staring at a card on my desk that says surrender on it. I kind of want to bring this in, actually. This is a card that I keep on my dissertation altar, like, because I have to surrender to the process, even though it can be incredibly difficult, it can be incredibly trying, it can be incredibly challenging, but the relationship that I have with my dissertation is one that, like I said, it's a crucible. It hones away things that were keeping me from being my highest self. And by meeting those challenges, surrendering to people being who they are, surrendering to, and like there's a lot of masculine energy coming into this, like I'm getting like people butting heads, right? So I feel like I'm on the right track here, even though it says celebration on the card. But like maybe celebrate the potential that this person has or people have to help you transmute. Is there anything else here to this message? Yeah, it's not supposed to be easy. Yeah, so they were saying like we're really divided right now. And we feel like we have to be so either or about sides. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we need to just hop on over and choose a side of the fence. But sometimes in doing that, we're holding boundaries and we're standing our ground. But there are ways to do that that are evolved, that are loving, that where you have an understanding that the other person might be locked into their perspective, literally trapped in it. Oh, I'm getting into the meat of what they want me to say here. Sometimes when a person has an unevolved point of view, they are not spiritually mature enough to meet you where you are. This does not mean that the things that they say or do are okay. But what it does mean is that while you are holding your ground, you can do it from a sovereign, compassionate place, understanding that the other person needs guidance. And you don't have to make that your responsibility, but you do have to make it your alchemy. You don't have to. But if you choose to make it your alchemy, you're going to get something out of it. You're going to draw the poison out of that situation. You're going to burn it away with that violet flame. You're going to burn it away. And you're going to find that what is left of you is that gold that we want to get to in our lives. And it takes a lot of patience when we're dealing with these people who can be spiritually immature. In Buddhism, they talk about loving kindness. And I remember, they're like, share their story. I remember once years ago, I was in a yoga class and we were doing a loving kindness meditation, and I realized I can't do this because there are people who do not deserve loving kindness. They don't deserve it, right? And not 2 weeks later, I nearly died. I was hospitalized. And I realized during that period when I was bedridden that anger had been kind of eating me alive, and I had to learn to find loving kindness. And it took me years. It took me really only until like a couple of years ago. I read this book called Welcoming the Unwelcome by Pema Chodron. And she talked about the fact that this means that we're defining loving kindness in a limited way. If we think that it means that we're just laying down and condoning BS or cruelty, right? What it means simply is that you want the other person to be released from their suffering. Because if they're released from their suffering, they will not need to make other people suffer with them. Right? So maybe what you're being called to do is consider an alchemy towards being the shepherd. Again, other people are not your responsibility. Right? Maybe you need to shepherd yourself. Maybe you need to shepherd yourself away from the situation. But understand that these people are locked into a perspective where they are suffering because they are locked into a limited perspective where their love is turned into fear, or their love has turned into rigidity and dogma that they cannot let go of because their sense of self is wrapped up in it. In some cases, I don't know, this could be global, this could be personal. This is just kind of what I'm being given to say here. But the point here is think about how you are defining loving kindness, and does that need to be alchemized, right? Do you need to shepherd yourself towards the violet flame and put some pride in there? Or, do you need to just sit and compassionately wait for other people to mature? You don't have to take it on yourself. You just have to, while you're standing your ground, while you're fighting for what's right, while you are filling yourself with light and trying to bring that light out into the world to help heal it. Some of that means alchemizing, right? Alchemizing yourself. Understand that people who might be opposing you are suffering, and loving kindness doesn't mean that the effects of that suffering is okay. How they're taking that suffering out on other people is not okay. It just means that you want them to be relieved from it, because we're all source energy at the end of the day, and everybody is going to learn and grow eventually. It may take lifetimes, but we're all here to help each other. So shepherd. All right. That is my message for today. So much love to you. If you're in and around Greenbelt, I'm giving a sound bath on Friday. I think I have a few more spots left for it. I'm really excited that people have been signing up for it. I have a link to the Eventbrite on my Facebook page. If you're looking from Instagram, there's a QR code on my page for you to scan if you want to register. Thank you all so much. Love, 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 love. Have a wonderful week. I cannot wait to come back and show you another fantastic deck. I love this one. Oh, she's such one of my babies. Have a great week. Mwah. Bye.